Welcome back to mckilliplife. My name is Amber and today I'm in the living room. Today I have a Tunisian Sampler Blanket update. I have finished squares 10 through 13? Yeah. For some reason my mind wants to say 4 because I did 4 squares, so like 14, but I have finished squares 10 through 13. And as before, I'll have the tutorials I use to learn the stitches in the description below if you're interested in looking into them. Let's get into it. So as you saw in my previous video about square 10, this is square 10, and this is after it's been blocked, so it's a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more square, but it's still pretty distorted. And this stitch is called the infinity stitch. And you just have to imagine it without these stripes, because these are stripes of purl stitch that I put in order to help the fabric relax. But this is the infinity stitch. It's supposed to look like figure eights, a chain of figure eights. I don't know if I'd use this stitch again because it is a difficult fabric to work with, but it was interesting to do. Square 11 was a whole lot easier to do. This is the honeycomb stitch. So it's a combination of simple stitch and a purl stitch, and just alternating that throughout. And I love it. It makes a nice relaxed flat fabric, and it's very enjoyable, and it's a very quick stitch to do. So that's number 11. Number 12, slip and top loop or something like that. And it's interesting because like from here to here it looks like one stitch, and then from the ends for some reason ended up looking differently. I don't really know what happened, and even on the back it looks different, you know, very consistent, and then it gets different. I have absolutely no clue how what happened. And as you can tell, this makes a much tighter weave. It's kind of reminds me of the tightness as the diagonal lattice. So it makes a very tight weave, and the whole square shrunk as a result. And like I said, I don't know what happened in the top and bottom, but it's pretty. It has these vertical dashes that go throughout it. It wasn't the easiest stitch to do because you're sticking your needle in weird places, especially on the top loop. So that was an experience. In square number 13, the tutorial called it the before and after stitch. So in this line, you're doing a very dense stitch. You basically do a full stitch before and after, and rather than leaving them loose, you gather them together. Don't know what happened there, but like I said, imperfections just show that it's homemade. So you do one line of these gathered full stitches, and then on the next line you do a knit stitch, and so forth and so on. And this was very, very easy to do. It came through very, very fast. And I think it's pretty. It makes, you know, there's quite a bit of stretch and give depending on which way you pull it and pull it. It's kind of holy, but not as much as like the puff stitch was. So it makes a relaxed fabric. It's still dense, but you can see on the back you have rows of the tight weaving. So it alternates where it's raised and thick and then thin. And of course the thin is going to be where your holes come from. Still don't know. But I think it's very pretty. Like I said, it's a very fast stitch. So out of these 4 squares, my favorite stitches were this one and then the honeycomb. And then these 2, I'm glad I did, but like I said, I don't think I'd use them again for any projects. Thank you for joining me in the living room today for the next 4 squares of my Tunisian Sampler Blanket. Like I said, I'll have the tutorials I use linked in the description below. And next time it'll be next time it'll be squares 14 through 17. And once again, I'm excited because it'll be 4 new stitches. I do feel the itch coming on to maybe try to work on my own stitch, because I have these foundation stitches now to work with, and I can combine them and see if I can come up with a stitch of my own that I enjoy doing. I had hoped to just use tutorials so that I could be easily shared and duplicated with everyone, but I do feel that itch coming on. And after looking at all these squares lined up together, this one is really, really small. So I don't know if I'll end up redoing that in a different stitch or just redo it with this stitch but bigger. Like I said, it wasn't the most enjoyable stitch to do, so I don't know if I really want to redo it. So it might just be put into my pile of odd washcloths, and then I'll remake it. I have to think about that. So in the future, I may end up coming up with my own stitches, but we'll see. And I've also I have the itch to start combining colors, but I'm not sure if I want to do that because, like I said, I want to have a blanket that's consistent and beautiful, and then if you have just a few odd squares with combined colors, I'm not sure if it'll go well. So these are just thoughts that are going through my head as I'm working on this. If you have any advice about assembling this blanket, please leave it in the comments below. Or if you have any stitches you think I might enjoy trying out, please leave them in the comments below. So thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this update. And until next time, have a good day.